Welcome everyone to Besides Business, episode 3. I am very excited today as we have the most special of special guests with us. This is Kirstie MacArthur, who is the co-founder of Cody Mortgage with myself. So she is my business partner. What's also, I left off her title today, is she is my wife and the manager of our household, stepmother to my beautiful children. So I couldn't be more happy to have a guest on than I am to have Kirstie today. Kirstie's also the founder of Carafe Growth Solutions outside of the mortgage space. And she is our third guest on Besides Business, where we sit down with local professionals and talk about what they like to do outside of work. Kirstie, thank you for joining us.
I'm very happy to be here and also honored to be part of what is a significant point of growth for you. Matt has been in the mortgage industry for over 10 years, actually almost 20 years, but almost 10 with Edge Home Finance. And he's been talking since I re-met him as an adult about how much a podcast would be a lifelong dream for him. So it is a true honor to be sitting here today and to see this fulfilled and to be able to do it together. And while it might not be the most significant or important episode for our viewers, it certainly is a really special day for us. So I'm honored to be here.
Well, we are honored to have you. Griffey, our dog, is also here with us, but he's been shy on camera so far, so we might get it. He's coming for his 15 minutes of fame. There's the back of his head at least. So today with Kirstie, we are going to talk about sugar cookies, nature, her love for nature, and her love for running. So let's start, Kirstie, before we get too much into those other fun things. Sugar cookies, I'm really excited to talk about with her. But let's start with your backstory into the mortgage space. So you're brand new to mortgage as of last year. You have a lot of professional experience outside of mortgage. So how would you describe why mortgage? I know a lot of people I meet, mortgage, including me, wasn't what I thought I was going to be growing up. So how did you get into this crazy space that we call home?
Well, it was definitely an accident at first, but yeah, you mentioned I don't come from this industry. I have a deep history in marketing, sales, and business growth, and overseeing teams and departments as companies go from startup stage to either national or even international expansion, and really just deep expertise and experience in operations, scalable growth, team management, recruiting, and all of that in conjunction with the marketing and sales and business development efforts to have that public-facing growth and to bring in new revenue and new clientele, but doing it in a way that was a positive, or at least the most positive way that we could do that for the teams that were making that work happen too. So I came out of that and was able to start my own consulting firm after being in the corporate world for almost my entire career. And I got to a point where I had gone through my second journey with cancer, and on the other side of that, just deeply needed a time and space, a sabbatical, if you will, to heal and to just recover from what was a significant journey. And so many of the clients that I had worked with and businesses that I had collaborated with started to reach out and ask me if I was available to do work with them or would consider consulting for them. And it was just a beautiful time that things came together in order for me to be able to do my consulting business, which has been so fun and fulfilling and allows me to use my skills and talents, not just for one organization or entity that I'm with, but to have that applied to really any industry, any company. So it wasn't long into my consulting journey, if you will, that I started asking questions about your business and how the mortgage world worked, and just saw so much opportunity to bring the experience that I had, specifically with technology and systems and operational efficiency, into this industry, and to be able to pair that with your incredible work on the processing and like the fulfillment side of mortgages. So it was a really natural fit, even though our approach to it wasn't always as natural because we're very oppositely and differently hardwired. It was such an awesome opening for an opportunity for us to be able to explore it. And once we finally got that configured and each found a way forward that honored our own skills and talents, it's been incredible. And just the growth and the results that have happened since we did make that decision to move forward have been so validating and very much encouraging that this was the right decision for us to have a joint venture.
It's been a fun ride so far. Excuse me, a lot of adjustments along the way, and I think the best is definitely yet to come. But we've both learned a lot. We've both had to flex a lot, and I appreciate your flexibility just getting into a new industry. Now, that kind of leads me to where I was going next. I've been in mortgage for almost 18 years, so I've known it, half of my adult life pretty much. You were stepping into a brand new industry as of last year in the mortgage world, and even the year before that is when some of this started, these conversations started happening. So what would you say, across all industries it's applicable, what would you say is the hardest or has been the hardest part for you stepping into a brand new industry, brand new world for you?
I at the risk of sounding arrogant, I'm not intimidated by new. I'm a curious person by nature. So the prospect of a new industry or a new challenge is very appealing to me. On the practical side of things, one of the most challenging things transitioning into mortgage is there's just a lot of antiquated elements, and also I don't know, I would say there's almost a club mentality. Once you're in, but on the outside there's this, I think, pressure that you are not valid unless you have massive results, because there's such a disparity between the very high performers and those that are doing a more moderate business plan. So I think the challenging part was to find a way to meet what our expectations were going to be for how our business is going to run, because doing the large scale, like massive operations isn't intimidating, but how does that work when you're looking at an entrepreneurial approach with resources that are split between just the two of us, or thinking about how to grow and scale? So I would say the most challenging part is that it's the wild, wild west, and finding the right stride for your business, your goals, your family's needs and wants, and blending that with the fast-paced sort of club mentality of the mortgage industry, I think was challenging, and I wasn't quite prepared or understanding how much is on a mortgage broker's plate, especially as a single entity. It's an entire business. Every single element of a business that you would have is on one person's shoulders. So that was challenging, trying to find the right fit and resources and tools for what we wanted in our life and to meet our goals.
Well, thank you for speaking for mortgage brokers everywhere. Yes, we have a very tough job, but it's very fulfilling to be able to see people realize the dream of home ownership, save money by refinancing, and help guide people through what can be a very complicated process. I think you and I have sort of adapted the motto or tagline, mission type statement, whatever you want to call it, of mortgages made simple, mortgages made easy, kind of that simplicity wording and messaging. And I think that's what I've always taken great pride in, and you're only going to help accelerate that, is making the process, which a lot of people, they're only experiencing a couple of times really in their life, and it changes every month, week, year, certainly. So making that simple and easy as possible. And I look forward to all the things that we'll be able to do together. Now, the last piece on business, before I talk to you about bowling and darts and sugar cookies, you mentioned the roller coaster of, starting a business with me. Now, not only are we business partners, we're also husband and wife, almost 2 years in now, a year and a half or so, being married to each other, living in the same house, raising 2 kids and a dog. What would you say has been the best and worst part about starting a new business venture with your handsome, talented, always patient husband of yours?
It's a trick question.
It's
no
false pretenses to start, but yes, also a trick.
I think that's a really good question for a lot of people. One, to give insight to who we are, the heartbeat of Cody Mortgage, but then also there are other mortgage brokers out there who are thinking about or wanting to or are working with family or spouses. And what was your question?
Best and worst part about
best and worst part. Okay.
Starting a business with your spouse.
Yeah. The best part is that you have the opportunity to set your coordinates and your aim in whichever direction you want to take it. And that is so exciting. As someone who worked in spaces where there was absolutely no boundary, where I would be getting phone calls, emails, text messages, messaging on apps and chats before, during, and after surgeries. I would be in the recovery room, and as soon as I was lucid enough to get my phone back, I would be immediately back in the saddle. And there was just such a pressure and expectation with very little boundaries and very little support when you're in those high growth spaces. The pleasure, the best part is you can set healthier boundaries and you can enjoy the life that you want to enjoy. The opportunity is there, and to be able to be there for significant life moments, either for yourself or your family, I mean, that's really the best part. And also getting to do what we love to do. You love being a loan officer and providing a very, very high level of service to your clients, and have simplified it. Like, you're just brilliant at it. And I'm very good at, and I enjoy the business growth and development side of it, and the operations, the tools, the infrastructure, all of that. It's an absolute joy to be able to blend both of our passions and to have that shared value too of the customer service and the experience, and a deepening layer of being able to add education and empowerment to it and fulfill like what's a value set of ours of truly making a positive impact in the world, not just on customer service, but making it a better place, more accessible, having more equality. It's a lifelong dream and something that I don't take for granted. Maybe I do take it for granted sometimes. But that's the best part, is being able to do what we want to do and how we want to do it, and in our own ways. And then the challenging part of it, the worst part, is perspectives and expectations. You can say the same exact words and it can mean something completely different to other people. And for us, I think the worst part is just knowing that if I fail, we fail, and just wanting to meet your expectations and then those of the industry and customers and clients. It's something that I think always struggle with is this fear of letting people down or failing expectations, but something that has been a privilege to be able to work on together for us to be able to set those boundaries and set expectations and know that if we're doing X, Y, Z, then we don't have to worry about the rest of the alphabet letters.
A, B, C, D. I was trying to think of which letters I could throw in there to make a joke, but not the funny hat I don't have on today. Okay, so that gives us a good framework of our business together, your introduction to the mortgage space. So I've teased this cookie thing a couple of times. Now this cookie obsession, we have a name for it, correct?
Absolutely, we do.
Okay, so it's not just sugar cookies. It's a whole event that typically takes place in December of every year and gets 10 plus years running at this point. So what is the name of the event that I have to schedule my Christmases around, and what is it and what do you do?
You're talking about Cookiepalooza.
I am.
And it has been a tradition in my family for over 10 years, probably closer to 15. And it started with baking at Christmas and being able to put together treat boxes for neighbors, for friends, for other family, and also for those that don't have family or maybe even friends in the area. So there's a mission element to it as well. But years ago, my sister Amy, she developed a sugar cookie recipe that when you think of sugar cookies, there's two things that can come to mind. One are the round, like loft house style ones, the soft cookie with a soft frosting, and then the sugar cookies that I'm obsessed with are the ones that are little works of arts, almost like painting, very highly detailed, highly intricate. Maybe we can put some photos in the edit afterwards, but just a space where everything around the world stops and it's just family, it's just creativity and baking and service and fun. We watch Christmas movies, we listen to Christmas music, we squabble here and there, but all the best things about family, and it's specifically my sisters and I and my mom and now my nieces as they're old enough to really have fun with it. So yeah, Cookiepalooza every year. It's my one of my most favorite things in the world for multiple reasons.
So I have been exposed to Cookiepalooza for 4 years now, I want to say. 4 of these events, 3 or 4. So I always get a special cookie brought home. Men aren't allowed at Cookiepalooza.
No.
So I get a special cookie that has Matt somewhere on it. I've had beautiful reindeers and Santas and snowmen, and when she says pieces of art, they are literally like, it's the best looking sugar cookie you can possibly imagine. And post this party with family, throughout the year actually, I will catch her watching videos of people making sugar cookies. So the obsession isn't just limited to December. Now, during Cookiepalooza, how many sugar cookies, if you had to guess, are completed between you and your sisters?
Oh, I can tell you exactly, because we've been using the recipe, the same recipe, and have it sort of ironed out. We have 25 different primary designs, and that ranges from Christmas trees to ornaments to those reindeer that you're talking about, snow globes, stockings, mittens, all of those standard shapes. And then our recipe makes anywhere between 450 and 500 cookies, each hand decorated and with a variety, mostly just frosting, but we'll throw in some edible glitter and sprinkles here and there. That's just sugar cookies. We have 6 to 7 additional cookie flavors along the way as well that are standard family favorites, or occasionally we'll throw in a new recipe.
I just found out live on air that was the number. I don't know. I would have guessed 200-300. I didn't know it was near 500. We might have to seek counsel for this. This doesn't seem healthy to be making this many sugar cookies and contributing to America's diabetes epidemic or whatever we're doing. So sugar cookies and the event Cookiepalooza, something that obviously brightens your heart and spirit. You were smiling from ear to ear when I brought it up. Another thing that I know, or two things that you like to do in your spare time, you love to go bowling and you love to throw darts. Now, in one of our very first dates our first couple of dates included both of these. So, and you still haven't beat me at darts, so that'll be an ongoing rivalry. So what is it about bowling and darts that you would say helps you be free, or what do you enjoy most about those activities?
I think it even includes the sugar cookies and all of my other interests. I'm a certified wiggle worm. It's very difficult for me to sit still and to have something where I can have conversation and also kind of hone in on something that quiets my mind a little bit is really nice. I really enjoy physical activity. Bowling is just fun. It's just so harmless, but just enjoyable, and there's very little pressure. You win some, you lose some, but when you get those strikes or those spares, it's just really fun, and it's a sense of camaraderie too. It's just always such positive vibes when you go to a bowling alley, and just so simply classic too. It's not complicated. And then darts, the same thing. I just like to be on the move, doing something, having conversation, having it be low stakes, and and anyone can do it too. So it's a very just welcoming environment. I've had so many fun conversations and just fun collaborative connecting moments with those particular activities.
Well, and something that I just thought of that we could pull back the curtain a little bit here on Cody Mortgage. So you and I, we won't get into our backstory quite yet. I think we'll have you on again because that's probably an episode by itself. But we reconnected. We knew each other as kids. We reconnected. Bowling was one of our first times hanging out together, or really our first main time. And at this particular bowling alley, when you would get a 9 and a pin would be left, there would be a rhinoceros that would appear on the screen, right? Mm-hmm. So for a long time, you in my phone were Kirstie with the rhinoceros emoji, rhino, and sort of a nickname. And now our family, we even have adapted the rhino is sort of our family mascot between you, me, and the kids. So that's an interesting thing that maybe we can get into at a later date. But we had a lot of 9s that day for some reason, and we kept joking about the rhinoceros. And
I got a 9 every single frame for one of our...
You sure is it?
Yeah.
There was a lot of 9s.
And then outside of that, there were a lot of 9s.
A lot of rhinos. And you were having surgery the following week. Mm-hmm. And you had shared with me that I showed up with a book, a spiky water bottle that you loved, mm-hmm. that you no longer have, unfortunately. Maybe a notebook, I don't remember, but then also a stuffed rhinoceros. And then it was kind of off to the races from there.
And a gift card for food, because after surgery, it was
naturally
very difficult for me to move and to cook or even to have the energy to do anything. So you wanted to make it easy so I could just go on my phone and have things delivered. So, yeah.
And we'll get into, you have an amazing personal backstory as well between, you've mentioned cancer. We knew each other as kids, and that's come back around. You mentioned multiple surgeries. I would love to dive into that deeper so the audience can get to know you. And Kirstie will be hosting episodes every other week, so you can interject your own experiences into the podcast for the audience as you can get to know Kirstie better. Now, next topic, we've talked about cookies and bowling alleys. Now let's get outside a little bit, because as your husband, I would argue there's no place on earth that makes you happier than nature and being outside. We can lump running into this as well, just as a active outdoor topic. What would you say that it is about nature that really brings out who you really are, and that it's so evident to someone as your husband that I'm like, yes, Kirstie was born to be outside and in nature? What is it about nature that brings that out of you?
Oh, there's so many things. I'm a very, I would say, collaborative and connected person. Like, people are very important to me, but I'm way more introverted than I am extroverted. So there's a solo element where I can recharge and just find my center. I think it's very healing. There's studies that show that green space exposure helps with attention, with mood, with focus, and just I think there's so many different applications. And so I'll talk about my solo joy in nature, but also just being outdoors with friends and family it's just so fulfilling to me. There's discoveries that you can make. I love to go on off the beaten path, literally. We just found our way to a really beautiful waterfall not too long ago, and we're wading through the river to cross to get to an access point. There's nothing more than I love than sharing joy, delight, adventure, discovery with those that I love. And then on the flip side, there's nothing that I enjoy more than those things too. I have been through a lot of health struggles, an extraordinary amount, actually, when I think about it. And a big part of my recovery has been nature, has been the healing aspects of it. And then I've had a significant head injury, a traumatic head injury, and broke my neck. And in addition to that, have gone through multiple rounds of treatment for my cancer, and those all affect your brain and your bones. And prior to all of that, I was born with a brain that I would say is in hyperdrive, especially for how our world has been simplified and dumbed down. It's been hard for me to find my space because my brain is just so active and never turns off. But when I'm out in nature, it's like the volume dial gets turned down. And especially when I'm trail running, you can't afford to think about anything else other than your successful next steps. And you can't be in a bad mood. You have to be so dialed in, whether you're training for a specific race or whether or not you're just trying to not trip on a hazard that's in the trail or slip or whatever. It is just very, very orienting to me and very therapeutic. And I've I've cried more, I've laughed more, I've wondered more, I've delighted more when I'm in nature than any other place on earth.
So thank you for sharing all of those things. And I know how, again, being near you every day, I know how important nature is to you. It's something that lights up your spirit. So bucket list, if you were to think of a trail or a place in nature, I know some of your favorites from living with you every day, but just bucket list item of where you could go in the world, anywhere, outside, doing something, but you have one place that you can go. It doesn't have to be the best, but just maybe the first that pops in your mind that you would. this is probably selfish for me that I can make an epic 5th anniversary or something like that. But what was when I just mentioned it, what popped in your head? Is there a place or an activity
Lots
that?
of them. Well, I guess if we're talking more on like for anniversary trips or whatever, I mentioned how special pearls are to me.
Yeah.
They remind me of my grandmother. Pearl diving. And
That's on my list.
specifically the Cortez Sea. There's pearls that are only found there. Like there's no other place in the world. But it would be really awesome to go diving and to find those pearls and to do it in a way that's as least harmful on the environment and nature as possible. And so it mixes adventure and also treasure hunting, but just something that is unique too and very special. Generic things are. I'm sure I'm a walking contradiction with some of the things that I do that are generic, but generic and easy access or for the masses just is completely opposite of who I am. So I really, really appreciate and enjoy things that you have to work for and that you have to take time to appreciate. So that would be a very unique experience that's on my bucket list.
Well, let's end on that. Tell me more about the pearls, because I knew that probably within our first 6 months of dating that was something that you wanted to do. And I'm glad you brought that. I didn't prep you for that answer, full disclosure. So I wanted to hear sort of a natural reaction in your mind. What is it about the pearls specifically there? And you mentioned your grandma. Can you give us a snapshot of, and she's no longer with us, but can you give us a snapshot of why those pearls in that place would be so meaningful to you?
There's lots of things. One of the first things off the bat is you can't reproduce them. Those have to be made in nature. Now there are replica pearls and beads that are polished and have that, shine on them, but you can't force a pearl to develop more quickly either. So there's just a really beautiful, meaningful representation of a pearl. It starts out as an irritant, like an invasive particle in a clam or an oyster. Sorry, not a clam, but that irritant.
I would have gone with whatever you said anyway.
That irritant. I mean, this is super beautiful and like the concept of it is profound actually. That irritant starts to get a protective coating that the animal produces to prevent it from hurting it. And then over time it grows and it gets layers, and very often it's a relatively uniform pearl. Those are the ones that are the most valuable. I love all the pearls and their nuances, their shapes, their color schemes. The pearls that I was referencing, the diving, they're a very unique shade. They're not your standard stereotypical white. They have beautiful warm hues to them. And just pearls in general remind me that difficulties don't have to be obstacles. They can really turn out into something beautiful. And when those moments come where you're so irritated or you're frustrated, remembering that you have the choice of whether or not you're going to let it just irritate and harm you, or if you're going to add your essence to it, to turn it around and to polish it and to make it beautiful, to make it part of you and something that you can share with the world around you. So seeing pearls, wearing them, it reminds me of my grandmother, Regina, and just what a classy woman she was, a practical woman, but very classy. And also the sort of maybe metaphysical or spiritual component of pearls. It's just, I wish we would stop and enjoy and appreciate things more, especially natural things.
Well, thank you for that quick education. Some of that I had never heard you say either, and especially in that way, it made my eyes water a little bit as your husband, but to hear you wax poetically about pearls. I know their meaning to you because we've talked about it, but I haven't heard it in that detail and with some of those metaphors to life. So I think that's something that we can all take away and appreciate from this episode. So thank you for teaching us about cookies, about pearls, about putting up with a stubborn business partner and husband. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a great wife, a great mother, a great dog mother. Thank you for lighting up my life, and I look forward to the rest of our lives together and our business together and this podcast. So that's a good segue into next week. So Kirstie will be hosting next week's episode, and that's where we start our alternate episode. So Kirstie will record, I will record every other week, so you get a different flavor. You get a man hosting, you get a woman hosting, smarter version, dumber version, different perspectives, different questions from this chair. Do you know who you're having on next week?
I do. Our first, or my first guest will be Jenny Cody Kangas, and I won't reveal too much about it, but it'll be a fun episode and an enjoyable and interesting one, but also I think there's going to be some great practical takeaways too.
Jenny is an amazing woman, professionally, personally, love Jenny. Very interesting to talk to. So next episode, and you're not going to have me in this chair, so next episode is going to be our best one yet. So thank you, Kirstie, for joining us. Thank you, Griffey. He's somewhere here. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.